Fox 11's Robert Hornacek is on special assignment tonight. A new effort to crack down on welfare fraud in Brown County is showing some promising results.
Yeah, sheriff's investigators say they have uncovered dozens of cases of people ripping off taxpayers for tens of thousands of dollars. Robert has more tonight on how people are scamming the system.
I spent several days digging through court documents and interviewing investigators and found several cases where people are trying to get around the system by lying about who lives in their home, their jobs, and their income. So who pays the price? Since these are taxpayer-funded benefits, we all do. The programs are meant to help those in need buy groceries, go to the doctor, help pay for daycare. But instead of using the system, investigators say some people are abusing it.
I think it's serious business. You can't cheat.
In one case, a woman is accused of receiving taxpayer-funded benefits in both Illinois and Wisconsin, and then selling some of her food stamps for cash. In another case, a Green Bay man was caught receiving taxpayer-funded health care benefits for his son. The problem? His son didn't live with them. He lived in California.
Has really opened our eyes as far as how much fraud there actually was.
In Brown County alone, there are more than 17,000 families that receive more than $200 million of taxpayer money every year for various welfare programs. Investigators say as much as 1.5% of that is fraud. By our estimate, that adds up to as much as $3 million a year that could be spent elsewhere.
It hurts the taxpayers as well as the department as a whole, because we have resources that are spending time on families that maybe shouldn't be eligible, when we could be helping out other families that are truly in need quicker.
Jenny Hoffman is a supervisor with the Brown County Human Services Department, the agency which administers food share, badger care, and child care programs. She says fraud is frustrating for her staff.
Our mission is to help those that are in need, but it gets frustrating if they aren't being told the truth up front and they find out after the fact.
Hoffman says the most common way people scam the system is by lying about who lives in their home and how much money they make. Take the case of Rosa Galindo. Prosecutors say from 2007 to 2009, Galindo received more than $24,000 in food stamps and child care assistance that she was not entitled to. According to a criminal complaint filed against her on 2 occasions, Galindo told her caseworker that no one lived with her except her 2 children. But according to her landlord and police, her boyfriend Juan Vera also lived there. During the 2 years Galindo was receiving taxpayer-funded benefits, Vera worked for part of the time and received unemployment compensation. Galindo's attorney did not return our repeated calls for an interview. While Leanne Patnode was receiving her taxpayer-funded benefits from 2007 to 2009, she had a job delivering newspapers. According to a criminal complaint in her case, Patnode was paid $26,000 in 2007 and $62,000 in 2008. Court documents show Patnode received more than $11,000 in food stamps she wasn't entitled to and more than $7,000 in health care, all paid for by taxpayers. According to the criminal complaint, she told investigators she was glad this finally came out because it was a big monkey on her back. The complaint also says Patnode knew what she did was wrong. Patnode's attorney on the fraud charges declined to comment on the case, and we wanted to speak with Patnode for this story, but she's in the Brown County Jail on federal charges. It turns out while she was receiving those welfare benefits from the county, she was also receiving supplemental security income, or SSI, from the federal government. Patnode recently pled guilty to 2 counts of false representation for lying to the feds about her employment. She received more than $13,000 in SSI benefits she wasn't entitled to.
You have to be honest. And you're not entitled to public monies that you otherwise wouldn't receive by lying about it. That's fraud. That's the essence of fraud.
District Attorney John Zakowski says he's seeing more and more cases like these.
People, I think, are becoming more sophisticated in their attempts to try to hide income or not report it and get around the system. It may be due to the economic climate that we're in.
The county is also taking a new approach to welfare fraud. Earlier this year, an investigator from the Sheriff's Department moved his office to the Human Services Department to work exclusively on fraud. In just 4 months, he's already investigated 58 cases of suspected fraud. Last year, Human Services investigated just 89 cases. Sheriff John Gossage says the new approach should send a message that if you're scamming the system, you will be caught.
In this, everyone's a victim. That's the problem, is everyone is affected by this when there's a misuse of some type of benefit, welfare benefit.
Investigators say only the most serious cases go to the district attorney. The rest are either settled with a ticket or a repayment agreement. So how effective is this new approach for fraud investigation? Well, the Human Services Department says for every $1 spent fighting fraud, taxpayers save $28. The county's also set up a fraud hotline, so if you know anyone trying to scam the system, you're asked to call 920-448-6378.